Hello everyone, it's Shell Being in action, and this is my post-surgery video. This is now exactly 1 week into it. Don't mind me while I have a seat and kick my leg up on my handy dandy leg scooter. Oh. Okay. Alright. So check-in. I have a lot of people very curious what I am doing as an herbalist and how I'm doing. And this is the story of that. Early disclaimer, I am not a doctor and I am not giving any professional doctoral advice. I am a herbalist, however, and I am not giving advice. I am merely stating what is being done in my life and what is working for me. I present this as knowledge to the world, as just merely that, knowledge. Now with that, thanks for tuning in. And as we did last week, 1 week ago, let's get started with a nice cup of tea. Now today, things are a little trickier, not having a second leg. And I didn't get my cup. I had everything ready to go and I didn't get my cup. What I do have though is this cup from earlier that had 1 sip of orange juice. We're going to turn that into our teacup today. Here we go. So we're going to brew some tea. What's in today's tea for me? What's in my cup? For that, we're going to refer to my grimoire. See, my mom, just 3 weeks before she had to come help me with my surgery in my micro studio, she fell and she broke her ribs. So I formulated a tea for her. And how fitting that this would be the same tea I am called to, because it is for bruising as well as pain, and I had intended it for her bones too. But for the mineral components, it's going to be quite appropriate for today's tea time. So we will be having a blend of Matricaria recrutia chamomile, Equisetum arvens horsetail, Calendula officinalis, calendula, Urtica diosea, this is my own wild crafted stinging nettle, Avena sativa pods, the milky oats, Curcuma longa, turmeric, Passiflora incarnata, passion flower, Zinzibur officinale, ginger, and Menthus spicata, spearmint. That mint helps more with the flavor, more so than anything else. But this is the tea that I have mixed up in my jar for convenience. And so I'm going to make a little batch of tea. And we have up here our handy dandy books today, because I would like to explain to you all with some true scientific text knowledge as to why I've chosen the herb that I have as my lead healer. And you can find multiple of the herbs that are in the tincture that I'm about to tell you about as well in lots of these different books. I am an herbalist and I do make my own product, but I also do seek out other people's product as well. It has to be of highest standard, ethically sourced, organic, local as possible. Sustainable is the biggest factor here. And some of my stuff is wild crafted. So this is my last batch of stinging nettle, actually. We're going to make some tea. In my jar, on my apothecary, I have this built-in filter, which is lovely for making tea. And as I speak to you, I sit here with my leg kicked out on my knee scooter in front of me. Surgery was exactly 1 week ago today. They tell me there were no complications. Now, I have questions for them I'd like to ask when I go back, which is not until this upcoming Friday. Now, does that mean no complications, that you got the whole ganglion cyst, and that all of the arm has been removed? And what no complication means for the ligament. And I had mentioned I was having, in my last surgery video, a peroneal tendon and ligament repair as well as the ganglion cyst removal. So that's what I'm referring to in this set of the video. This is the second video of a series. I don't know yet how many will be in this series, but surely there will be quite a few because this is a 2-month healing process. So let's add our reverse osmosis water in. And I thank you for your time in waiting with me as we create this pause. See, a cup of tea is a pause for yourself. Oh, okay. Tea is brewing. And not only is a cup of a tea a pause, but if made properly, can be medicinal. So I will let this organic raw herb that I have just described to you together and let that brew for 15 minutes in my kettle. Now, what I've been doing every day is keeping a journal in reference to what time of day I was taking pain pills, what pain pills, whether it was the ibuprofen or the prescribed hydrocodone. That's what I am on in my case. The pain has been surreal in days. And as I talk to you right now, I have not had a pain pill in nearly 24 hours. Not an ibuprofen, not a hydrocodone. So I'm going to clear some air right now, create a nice healing environment. Taking a nice break right now from some space with my mom. She's in the sun, writing some cards to people. And we're going to just put some healing energy out here. Yes. Very calming. These are Tibetan prayer gongs from Tibet. And here we have some Palo Santo wood. We're going to clear the air, create a positive space for healing and reinforcement of healing. Now, this being my second video, I have some update for you of what herb I've been taking. The secret herb. It has been my own homemade 100% organic go-to cola Centella Asiatica pills. You can see, or maybe you can't see. Oh, maybe you can see the pills in the jar. If not, maybe you can see them in my hand. Okay. Why Centella Asiatica? Because it's amazing with the tissue and scarring repair. Now, I can't put anything on my ankle externally yet. See, I can't do that for another at least a week or more. Haven't been able to get it wet in the shower. So I've had to work on internal herbs. After just a few days of surgery, I began a homeopathic internal arnica. That is the only safe way that you may take arnica in this day and age. And I added that in with just 1 a day. On day 2, I added it to 2. Then I got up to 3. I've never taken more than 3 in a day yet. I've been taking those for the pain, the swelling. I've been taking the 200 CK. That is the strongest dose you can get of the Boy Ron brand homeopathic arnica. Also, day 4 is when I added in my Centella Asiatica pills. Again, that is my go-to cola. Now, as I mentioned to you, I would like to provide some scientific text onto why that herb. It makes sense if I had these actually labeled for this video, but I don't. I still have them labeled for other herbs from college. So let's just look up in real time here. Go to cola. Okay, on page 176 of Herbal Vade Micum, or Mecum, however you can say it, by Gazmend Skandiri. It would state, Centella Asiatica constituents are triterpenes, which are free triterpenoid acids, those being Asiatic acid, Mediacic or acid, their ester glycoside, Asiacoside, Mediacoside. So lots of varieties. Flavonoids, there we go. Phytosterols, polyacetylenes, volatile oils, tannins, etc. Now, what does all of that mean? Well, what it's for is its properties. It's for wound healing. This herb, Centella Asiatica. Wound healing, chiefly by increasing collagen production. I want that. Having just had a ganglion cyst removed from my ankle and having them worked on my ligament, they skipped working on my tendon, my peroneal tendon. And they did my ligament in 2 spots and cut out my ganglion cyst. And I'm anxious to see how big of the scar is. It's in a cast. The cast is up to my knee. So I'm very anxious to see how big of this scar is, where it is, and that will be in the few days here. But in the meantime, I know there's a scar. So I want to put an herb in me that has the ability to work on collagen production and wound healing. So that's why my go-to cola pills. We also have the Materia Medica of Western herbs. And for go-to cola, it states in its actions that it is also anti-inflammatory. Does have other actions, but for those reasons, I have chosen, again, Carol Fisher. I have chosen that as my lead healing herb. Now, I also added in a tincture. In the first video, I mentioned to you all I was doing that. And I'll be starting another blog separate that actually has photos and videos of the process of making these medicines. But in the meantime, let's show you the tincture. And I will take some of this on camera, as well as we'll have some of our tea together. So this tincture, I'm not the best with names. I need to get a little more creative still. But we've called this one a floral post-surgery tincture. Felt appropriate. I've chosen frankincense, rose, calendula, yarrow, oat pods, ginger, cinnamon, and I have a organic 100% herbal component in here, as well as a organic, ethically created and sourced honey mead that was distilled into a honey Everclear. So I have a diluted honey ethanol in here on top of my other herbs. I let this all soak in a jar for 3 weeks. You can see this process in the separate video. And then it's strained through a strainer. And here we have our finalized tincture. So I have started this in my diet, so to say, yesterday. And I'll be having some more of that today. So the pain is pretty much always there. And for that reason, I've decided I need to take less pain pills than I was, because that was not taking the pain away. It was only kind of distracting me of it. And surprisingly, as I'm taking less pain pills, I'm now sleeping longer and better. I do still wake up consistently throughout the night, about every hour or so, because of pain. I am awaking. And I find myself having to drain my leg. So I keep it elevated at night. Leg is up. The blood starts to flow up and down my leg. And my leg is always numb. So I have to stand up to physically invert it and let the blood drain back down. First, I was in my head thinking about that. But the more I wasn't sure it was the right thing. The more I think about it, I'm realizing that blood flow going down back into the foot by where that injured tissue is a good thing. So I started out with just one go-to cola pill a day, consulted my other herbalist friend. Even us herbalists seek out other help. And we realized it's a tonic and I should just be taking more and have it more and more, going up increasingly. So I am now at 2 go-to cola a day. Again, surgery was 1 week ago today. I'm doing incredible with myself. The go-to cola is not so much for the pain. I would say it's more for the tissue repair, the collagen production. But the fact that it is deemed an anti-inflammatory, that's great. This tincture, however, is like an anti-inflammatory, kind of a joint moistener from the mucilage. There is a lot of moistening from the frankincense and the cinnamon in this tincture. So I'm going to pour myself a cup of tea. You guys make sure that you get one for yourself and what you are called to. Thank you for pausing for a moment with me. And what this entire surgery is making me realize is we can't always neglect ourselves. We can't just keep pushing, getting everything done, even if you have your place looking great at the end of the day of it. If you're not pursuing your dreams, then there's still no point. So this surgery has really made me sit down, take a pause, as this tea you're about to have is going to do, and think about the things that matter the most in my life, rather than thinking about everything. Or worse, instead of thinking about the things that mattered the least. We get stuck thinking about what we don't want often. Isn't that funny? Enjoy your tea. It's still pretty hot. Now we're going to take a tincture. I added in 1 dosing a day yesterday. Today, no pain pill again. It is 6 p.m. Made it a whole day without a pain pill. So we're going to add this in, and I'm going to take 1 full dose and add in an extra half. 1 dose being 30 drops is your typical for a tincture. 1, 2, 3. And 15 will be one of these dropperfuls. So we're going to go for 3 dropperfuls total. And I'll be honest with you, I don't even like the taste that much as an herbalist. I don't like being able to taste the alcohol at all. So what I do, instead of adding it to an entire glass of water and suffering through the whole glass, is I add mine to a little shot glass, and I just add a little water to the glass. I take it as a shot, and then I drink my water after. And again, if you've made your cup of tea, here's your water component. Much better. I have been pushing myself in ways that I didn't know were possible. The day I came back from surgery, I was released so quickly. It's your instinct, in my opinion, when you get put under completely, which I was, when you wake up to want to use the restroom. But I guess usually now, although they release you rather quick from the hospital, normally they would wait for you to use the restroom and then they can release you. Immediately as I woke up, that's what I had to do. So as soon as I was done using the bathroom and they got me into my clothes, I was out of there and I was loopy. It was a blessing my mother was able to get me home from the hospital because she, being from Hawaii, does not know Seattle, yet alone the parking situation and using GPS and just the lack of sleep for both of us. So she's been here helping me. It's been difficult. I can't stand on my own without this darn scooter being right here. Today I tested my crutches, but I'm not quite there yet. It's going to be at least another week for that. It's very challenging not being able to do much. Not much at all. And it's difficult for me because I'm used to doing so very much. But this has been forced on me by the universe, I do believe, to allow me to rest and to give some of my knowledge back to the world, to teach of some herbs, to give examples of how herbalism can go alongside pharmaceuticals. It does not need be one or the other. To give example and knowledge. And now I have the time. So thank you for tuning in today. I hope you've enjoyed what's in your cup of tea. Keep tuned and posted. I will be talking more next week once I have had my my surgery rewrapped. I see the doctor on Friday and I get to see my stitches for the first time. I may puke when I see them. Might be too surreal for myself. On that note, much better. Have a beautiful and a blessed day. Thank you for tuning in to Shell Being with Action. Thank you for sharing a cup of tea with me and this pause. Have a blessed day. Now I have to get myself up here. Oh, yeah. Thanks for tuning in.